not even top 10 B class at Loretta's to I'll just skip A and I'll just go pro and race Supercross.
Yeah.
It did
not go good.
Okay. I was trying to say this in like the most respectful way possible of that's a really weird pathway.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But hey, I'm here now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it worked. So
yeah, it's very confusing. I don't know. It all just sort of happened. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, boom. That's the explanation of Alex Ray's career in a nutshell. We'll get into it in this episode of the Racer X Exhaust podcast, but first, the music. Podcast. 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 Yeah, welcome to the latest episode of the Racer X Exhaust podcast here on the Racer X Podcast Network. I'm Jason Wygant. This is my show, but our podcast network has quite a variety of things for you. The Main Event Moto podcast, which would be good if it had a better host. Unfortunately, it has Daniel Blair. And the Moto Marketing podcast, which is actually quite successful, and huge visor tip to Luke Nessler. The show was his idea. He did it himself. He built his own studio right up the road from our Morgantown HQ, and now Racer X is probably getting the credit for building a cool studio and having a cool podcast. But Luke really did all the work himself. He just asked if we could post it on the podcast network, so that's cool. And you can also check all these out on our YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Look up Racer X Motocross and Supercross News on YouTube. Honestly, just type in Racer X, and you'll find it. We post all the podcasts there as well for people like my dad who could never figure out how to listen to a podcast any other way, but they probably know how to go to YouTube. But if you're my dad, even though you know how to do it, you still don't. I don't know why. It's like if it's not on cable TV, it's just not going to work. What is going to work for you is a Yoshimura exhaust system and the RS12. Yep, lots of new products coming out. Now you can pre-order for KTM's 500 EXCF. That's the dual sport, and also the Husqvarna 501 dual sport. By my estimation, there is a 1,000,000% gain in power. It's actually 21.8% more horsepower and 15% more torque. Remember that these bikes are really choked up. They are unbelievably quiet when you get these things stock. I have a 350 dual sport. It is so quiet, it's nuts. I'm surprised the 350 runs as well as it does and has as much power as it does, considering how quiet it is. But if you put this Yoshimura exhaust system on your 500 EXCF, you're going to have massive gains. Plus, it looks cool. Sounds good as well. And all of these RS12 exhaust systems have a really good insert idea where you can put a sound insert in there to make it quiet, or you can get a little more power if you need it, depending on what situation you're in. I love the idea of a quiet dual sport because you can basically make anything a riding area, like a fun turn track right off the side of the road, and if it's fairly quiet, no one will know, and then you just ride it back home. But there's much more to it than that, so go to yoshimura-rd.com. Check out Yoshimura Cycling for their cycling kit and also those Chileo pedals. And also it's brought to you by MX Tech Suspension, professional aftermarket suspension for riders who want excellent comfort and control. Their quality engineering is based on a lifetime of specializing in dirt bike suspension. And with that experience, they developed the Lucky Fork, dual springs, dual cartridges, Huck valves. A lot of forks, they'll put springs or damping in one leg but not the other to save weight. Well, MX Tech has it in both, yet maintains ultralight weight by using the latest in technology and coating. Maximum performance, lightweight. Head over to mx-tech.com for more information. So today's show, I'm going to talk to the very popular privateer Alex Ray. Through my experience in the industry, I've learned that there are several things that from the outside looking in are incorrect. There's, I don't know what we call them, misnomers, misunderstood things about the industry. Recent show, I had a rant about, I know everybody thinks that the teams would have more sponsors if they could put bigger logos or do a better job marketing the outside sponsors. That's actually a misnomer. Sponsorship doesn't even really work on that high visibility model anymore because unfortunately Google and Facebook and social media do much better if you're looking for exposure for the dollar. So race teams have to be more resourceful than that, unfortunately. So that's one misnomer. Another one, and I'll get into this in future episodes, I think people tend to look at the manufacturer brands as like one giant global entity. You would be surprised how little connection there is between, say, Japan and then Europe and then the United States, and how they work together. On the surface they do. Like, obviously Tim Geiser came over and raced Monster Energy Cup last year, and it wasn't like he was struggling to find a bike. Honda helped him out. But there's less cooperation between all these different groups, the headquarters in Japan, the race team in Europe, the race team in the United States, the production group, the racing group. There's much less of a connection to a lot of these brands than you would imagine. So that's another thing that's like a misnomer. I think we look at them as just one giant global brand. It doesn't quite work that way. It's often just individual people and individual groups doing their individual racing with their individual budget. I do say, and I do feel, that KTM and Husqvarna probably do the best job of marrying all those departments together. It's not as easy as it sounds, though, to do that. So that's the second thing. The sponsor thing, I think, is often misunderstood. How the manufacturers work is often misunderstood. The third thing is, on the outside, I hear people refer to the sport as the sport. But unfortunately, it is not the sport. It is just a group of individual things all kind of happening together, but it's not the same structure. It's so easy to look at how the NFL works or how NASCAR works and say, they do this, why don't we do that? Well, the difference is there is a they. Those are leagues, and they only are concerned with what happens with their product on the game day or the race day. This sport is much more complex in that there are so many elements, from dealerships to gear sales and bikes, and then the idea that the bike that they're racing is similar to the bike that you can buy, and there's local racetracks, and then we have different races all over the world that are somewhat the same but not. It's not one league. NFL is only concerned with you watching their football games on Sunday and Monday night. They are not concerned with watching the game on Sunday leading to you to playing more football yourself on Monday. There's not a connection there. They don't have to worry about those things. So those are leagues. They can make very quick decisions. Here, it's much more vertically integrated with a lot of different moving parts, and that leads to much harder decisions and much fewer changes to the way things operate. Two strokes. I know fans love two strokes. It is unfortunately very complex of what it would take for two strokes to actually become the platform that they race or that you race at your local races. Yes, you can race a two-stroke if you want, but we all know the rules are tilted against that. It's just more complex than people see on the outside. It's not like the NFL saying, you know what, we're moving the kickoff line back 5 yards. We only have 800 players and 30 teams that need to know about that rule, and it affects no one else. It's our league. We can do whatever we want. It's not that easy here, unfortunately. And the final misnomer is the poor privateer. I think everyone assumes the privateer, since they're making less money and they don't have the cool bikes and they don't have the best results, are the saddest people in the pits. But it actually is the opposite. The further back you walk into Privateer Island, the happier everyone is. Those guys are having a better time way out in the back with their not as good bikes and their not as good money or no money than the dudes right in the center of the pits with the factory rides and the huge paychecks because of the pressure. If you're Marvin Musquin or you're Cooper Webb or you're Eli Tomac or you're Ken Roczen, the goal is to win, and if you don't win, life ain't that great. If you're a privateer, a lot of them, I think they know this is bonus time. They cannot believe they're in this position where they're actually not having a regular job and they're racing their dirt bike. And what we all know is it's very hard to ride your dirt bike and have a bad day. And I think these guys realize, a lot of them, they're probably pushing off the inevitable, which is regular job, which isn't going to be as fun as this. So it's really cool. These guys don't have any pressure. A lot of times the only person that even cares about the results is themselves, as opposed to entire companies that are paying them and expecting them to win. Brings us to Alex Ray, one of the happiest, most fun to talk to guys in the pits, and the team he's on. SGB, Babbitt, Maxis, Kawasaki, Justin Rodbell, Jeremy Smith, A-Ray, Jordan Jarvis, their team owner, Jason. If you go over there, dude, those guys are having the time of their lives. The factory teams try to keep it light, to try to keep the pressure off, to try to have better results. But man, is it fun when you go and visit these privateer teams like this. Now, A-Ray is such a glutton for punishment. He's so good at being made fun of that our buddy Mathis actually took him to dinner at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse during the Red Bud doubleheader. I felt guilty because I make fun of A-Ray too, like everybody else, as you'll hear him explain in this interview. I'm going to send him a gift card. Going to. You know me. Buying people stuff is very difficult. I'm cheap. But we all love A-Ray. And I think A-Ray, how could he be in a bad mood? Even if he doesn't make the main. He is shocked he's in this position, and when you hear his story of what it took to get here and how far he's come, it would be hard to be in a bad mood on weekends. So I will remind you of this. When Alex Ray gets 17th in a Supercross, he's had a better night, I think, than when Eli Tomac gets 5th. Tomac might be making more money, might be on a better bike, and might have had a better result. But when Eli Tomac gets 5th, the world comes crashing down because he's supposed to win. A-Ray has gone from a guy who could barely make the night show to barely make mains to now makes mains consistently. I think this is all a bonus for him, and he's in a great mood. He's just such a fun guy to talk to. So the beginning of this interview, just the boring stuff of how is your 2020 and what's your 2021 plans, and then we'll get into his ridiculous journey to where he is today.
Dude, yeah, I've been meaning to, like, whatever, since probably Paula, I've been like, oh, let's call A-Ray and see what's up. But I didn't even do that. And I have to send you a gift card for allowing us to make fun of you nonstop. So,
oh, jeez.
You're back on my radar, dude. You're back on my radar. I mean, dude, Steve brought you Roost Chris. How do I compete with that?
I mean, you really can't. I mean, their Brussels sprouts are freaking awesome, so.
Okay, like a true athlete. You respect the vegetable.
Yeah.
Right.
I think I forgot what Steve likes. I think it's the mashed potatoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are going to a steakhouse and loving the sides more than anything else. Hey, by the way, so before I start this, this is SGB is just back. Like, you already know what you're doing?
Yeah.
This is good. A rare privateer who actually knows what the hell he's doing, so it makes it a lot easier to do interviews 2 months for the season. A-Ray, dude, are you just grinding? What do you do this time of year? Is it like couch and potato chips time, or is it just grinding all the time?
It's grinding all the time. You know, it's waking up early, doing my warm-ups, headed to the track, doing my motos, coming home, and then probably hopping on my bicycle and doing more gym stuff. So now we're full boot camp status. I did take a couple of weeks off there, so right now I'm just trying to work off all the food that I ate pretty much, because I was on a food bender for sure.
Oh, so you did have that. It's just not now.
Yeah, no, it's back. We had it, but it's back to grind. So.
Okay. You actually know, like, are you just staying in the same team? Like, you actually have a plan?
Yeah, staying with the same team, SGB Racing, Maxis Babbitts Kawasaki. Babbitts is back on board. They've actually stepped up their program with us, and that's awesome. And yeah, you know, Jason, he's excited to do another year with us, so it's going to be good.
The team was pretty good, man. The team was pretty good. Did it seem a little easier to, like with Babbitt say, stepping up? Does it seem like it's getting easier to get the stuff you guys need and the support? And maybe the owner would know more than you, but I would think after a good season, you're kind of on the map now. Yeah,
I mean, with, you know, me having some few good results in Supercross and then Rod Bell really coming on and outdoors, and, you know, all three of us, I mean, me, Jeremy Smith, and Rod Bell outdoors. Yep. I mean, we all know the struggle of me this summer, which it was just a freak year. I think it was just 2020. And then, you know, Jeremy Smith having some breakout rides and Rod Bell just crushing it outdoors. I think it really opened some doors for us. It helped us out. And, you know, we got a lot of exposure.
Yep.
And I think that was just good for the whole team.
Okay. Did you know that it was necessarily going to go this way? Like, you were on HEP. You switch over to this team, which was like brand new. Were you 100% certain, like, oh, this will be fine, this will be rock solid, or were you? You can admit the truth now. It's a year later. Were you a little like, no, I don't know how this is going to go?
I was skeptical. I mean, anytime with a first year team,
right?
You know, there's some growing pains. I mean, there was growing pains with, I think, almost all the teams. You know, like HEP. It was a second year team for me, and we still had a few struggles, you know. I mean, there's always going to be some struggles. We're always going to be learning, and I think, you know, that Jason, he was willing to learn and willing to take some input, and he made it better. He did everything he could, and even more. You know, he did above and beyond what he said he was going to do for me. I mean, he even did more than what the contract even said. So, props to him for sticking with it and learning. You know, I mean, he was like a sponge this year, man. He just soaked it all in and learned a lot.
And then you did this awesome thing to like help the team train by having like every bike problem that someone could have outdoors to like really teach them like everything they would ever need to know about keeping the thing running.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, we know every in and out of a Cowie right now. I think so. I mean, we had every single failure that could possibly happen go wrong. So, I mean, I think coming into 2021, my bike's going to be bulletproof.
But the crazy thing is, like, obviously Rod Bell's bike, which is, I guess, the same or something, like, it was just freak is what you're saying, because you had teammates who were okay.
Yeah. Now, Jeremy Smith's pipe did fall off at Paula.
Oh.
Yes, it did fall off.
Oh.
Well, the same thing happened. Like, the little tab broke, like, behind the subframe. The subframe didn't break. It was just, like, the nut behind it.
Okay.
Popped off. So, yeah, and then Rod Bell's was loose. So, it didn't fall off, but it almost did.
Oh. It sounds like this could be contagious. You've passed this on to the teammates.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I hope not.
Does anyone really have a clue of why your muffler falls off? Is there any specific thing that, like, I don't know. Is there like you get off the back of the bike and grip it with your legs? Is it revs, or is it just weird?
There was just freak stuff that happened. Okay, so the first time it happened, I'd gotten a new bike, a brand new bike. I was like, hey guys, look, I think it was Millville. I was like, I want a brand new bike. Right before Millville, I was like, hey, I need a brand new bike. They're like, okay. Team went out and bought a brand new bike for me.
Okay.
Because, like, I was having so many issues.
Okay.
And on the Cowie, the subframe where the pipe mounts on, it's pretty weak. And with the FMF pipe, it doesn't have a rubber mount. It's a solid mount. So there's a lot of vibration there, and the tabs usually tend to break off.
Okay.
So we usually get reinforced subframes. Well, we had a brand new bike, and that just got overlooked. We didn't put a welded subframe on there.
Okay.
And that's what happened at WW. It fell off. And then apparently, like the next weekend, we had an older subframe on, but it was reinforced. But I guess the threads were pretty blown out, so the pipe just sort of it loosened and it pulled the threads out, and the pipe fell off the end. So it was just like a kind of a freak thing.
So now they might have the setup down. We might have this figured out.
They got the setup down now.
Okay.
Yeah, we got all new bikes. It's all getting done. My bike's gonna look like, what's that movie? Death Race. It's gonna look like one of those cars.
Okay. Hey, so you're a California guy. I know that your team owner there is all the way back in like Maryland, but you're just California guy all the way these days.
Yeah, these days. I mean, before outdoors this year, I was at home in Tennessee at my parents' place. We have a track there and stuff, but yeah, for the most part, I'm out here in California. We have all the Supercross tracks.
Yep.
And the main reason for me is just you don't miss a day of training because of weather. You know, even if it rains here, you can still go ride, a sand track or something like that. But it's so unpredictable on the East Coast, the weather. So I'd rather just stay in California where I know I can ride every day. Yes,
because we know you have deep roots grinding at Club MX.
Yeah, Club MX, man, for sure. I mean, there would be times where we would sit there for a week and it would rain all week. We're paying to freaking ride there, and then it's fucking raining all week. It's like, what?
Yeah. California's making a comeback. That's what it sounds like to me. Yep. Here's something. I'm totally switching gears here. Here's something about your career I've never quite understood. Okay, first time I ever heard of you is when Hanny took you out for no reason in qualifying one time.
Long time ago.
That was, dude, what were you, like 12 at this point? Like, that's so long ago. The ages don't make sense.
It was 2012, I think.
Yeah, that's 8 years ago. Like, you're not that old. It doesn't make sense to me.
I was like 19, 18 or 19.
How old are you now?
27, I think. Fuck.
I don't know. It seems like the math doesn't line up to me.
Yeah, my first year was 2011. I was 17. I remember because I turned 18, I think, right before Seattle. Yeah, okay. I was a young buck. Yeah.
All right, perfect. This is what I'm asking. I've looked at your Loretta's results. What, all of a sudden, why did you, what turned you to like, hey, I'm young, but I'm ready. I'm going for Supercross, dude. Like, what led to that?
So I was working with a guy named Brian McDonald.
I remember him.
He does video slice stuff. He's like a mental coach and everything. And he was working with Bowers and Vince Freeze at the time. And I rode with them a lot. Yeah, I know. Freaking Tyler Bowers, right?
Yeah. This is out in Cali?
Okay, so he had this Supercross academy.
Yes. We did a story on it in the magazine once. You might be in this. I got to look back now. This is crazy. Wow.
Okay, so I was there. I was a 16-year-old kid. My dad just freaking said, hey, hey, you want to try Supercross? Like, that's pretty much what Brian McDonald told my dad. He's like, yeah, I'll try it. Because I grew up on, like, small, tight, night tracks and stuff. Like, okay. I felt like I was all right at it.
All right.
So, 16 years old, after Loretta's freaking just dropped me off in California with this credit card, which is a very bad idea. And, yeah. And I pretty much stayed in California and did the whole Supercross Academy. And then I did that whole thing. And then obviously that all got shut down and we went to Palm Springs and I just continued riding Supercross. And the next year I got my pro license somehow. I think through Brian and email, and I think I did mini O's or something, Supercross. And I just showed up to Anaheim 1.
Did you even race A class? Or did you skip this?
I did, I think, 2 races. I did mini O's and, like, some other local race.
Okay. So you're like, okay, B rider. Not, like, crushing it, but, like, okay. And then you just skip A, and I'm just, screw it, I'm going Subi.
Overall at Loretta's or in a moto. Never gotten a top 10 or overall in a moto, ever at Loretta's.
Okay, so you go from not even top 10 B class at Loretta's to I'll just skip A, and I'll just go pro and race Supercross.
Yeah.
It did
not go good.
Okay. I was trying to say this in like the most respectful way possible of that's a really weird pathway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But hey, I'm here now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it worked. So
yeah, it's very confusing. I don't know. It all just sort of happened. And I don't know. I mean, just Brian McDonald just said, hey, come do the Supercross Academy with these 20 other dudes.
Yep.
And we're all going to live in a house. We're going to train and we're going to ride Supercross every day. I'm not going to lie. I was sketchy. I mean, you can ask. I mean, everyone was there. Bowers was there. Devin Raper was there. All these people. They thought that I was just like the young, retarded fat kid that didn't ride dirt bikes and was just there to hang out. And then, like, I showed up and I started riding and they were like, okay, well, this kid ain't that bad. So I was like, all right.
They were only thinking that based on looking at you and your personality, not the riding.
I was just like some kid who was just cracking jokes all the time and just, just kind of a slacker.
Okay.
And, like just one of the, like a class clown type deal.
Okay.
Everybody just sort of looked at me and laughed and joked, whatever,
Yeah.
But then I started riding and I started getting the hang of it and I started getting better and better. And we would do race simulations.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of these dudes started getting pissed because I kept I started beating them.
Uh-huh.
And, I remember there was this guy named Ronnie Goodwin. He rode for that Red 17.
No idea. Okay.
I don't know. He was from Vegas. He rode for like Hart and Huntington and a few of those teams. I don't know, like in lights class back then in those days. And he got mad at me one day because I passed him through the whoops and I got a little sketchy. And like it came off the track and he was like, hey, dude, like what was that all about? I was like, I don't know, man. My eyes were closed. He got so pissed off because I passed him through the whoops and I told him my eyes were closed.
Were they actually closed?
I probably.
Oh, okay.
At that point in time, I was just hanging on for dear life.
So did you race the like lights class or 250 class or whatever, or were you just?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Wow, it was a struggle too because I was a big boy.
Okay.
First year, 2011, I rode 250 West, 450 East. I did the whole damn series. I was like, yo, I'm racing, baby.
Wow.
Like, yeah. I missed Anaheim 1 night show. I made the next one at Phoenix, but I ended up crashing in practice and knocking myself out. So I didn't get the race.
Yeah.
So I had to take 2 weeks off because of the concussion protocol or whatever that they had. And then, ended up making the rest of them. I got 10th in a heat race, 1 spot out of the main, and then I got 3rd in LCQ at Seattle, which was 1 spot out of the main. I got a picture of me and Diana Dahlgren on the podium with the medic card.
Oh.
Still on my phone. Oh. Badass. Yeah, sick. And then, I raced all the 450 class, East Coast. I missed a couple night shows. But yeah, I was just excited to be there. I mean, I was just a young kid, like 17, like, just out of the B class.
Dude, that is an insane climb, because you literally just used the term, I made it, but when you were using the term made it then, you mean made the night show.
Yeah.
And now your standard made it has now become made the main.
Yeah.
That's how far it's come.
Hey, real quick, we interrupt this A-Ray interview to remind you that the RacerX calendar, one of our most popular items of the year, is now available. So go to racerxonline.com/Weege to subscribe. We'll send you a free calendar to hang on your wall for 2021. We'll also give you a $25 Rocky Mountain ATV MC gift card. So with the gift card and the calendar, the magazine subscription, which will give you it both in digital form, it's on our website. You can read it right through there, and you'll get the print edition in the mail. It's essentially free when you consider what the calendar and the gift card cost, and the magazine subscription is $30. So do it. racerxonline.com/WEEGE. I want the credit, not the other people that work here. Back to A-Ray.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, or top, I mean, I've been, like, last year I was top 20 in points, and to come from literally nothing or just absolutely sucking, being top 20 in points last year, you know, whenever I rode for, and and dude, like, think about it. I've never gotten a top 10 outdoors. I've never done any of this stuff. I've ridden for great teams. I rode for Factory Yamaha.
That's right.
HEP, Cycle Trader. I'm on a pretty good team now. Like, I've done everything I wanted to do and more. And I'm just like some fat kid from Tennessee. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no way 10 years ago you're thinking that this is where you're going to end up.
No, hell no. I thought I was going to be working at the pawn shop with my dad.
So I guess your dad knew something when he just dropped you off at 16 in California by yourself.
No, I don't know. I think he just wanted to get me away from him for a little bit.
You're not even going to give credit. I love it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now you've become, I feel like you're pretty handy at just knowing how to get into the main one way or another. The amount of garbage starts you've had in LCQs and still made it work. Is that even the goal? And is getting into the main, is that already behind you? Now it's on to the next thing?
To be honest, it's just top 20 in points.
There you go.
That's the goal. Like, that's where I want to be. That's where I need to be. Yep. You know, we missed it this year. Obviously, I mean, I had a crash in Tampa. That set me back. And I feel like if I hadn't had that crash in Tampa, it would have gone a little bit different.
Okay.
For like Daytona, and a few of those rounds after Tampa. But yeah, I struggled a bit those few rounds, and just with pain in my back and stuff. But yeah, that's the main goal: top 20 in points.
Yeah, but again, that's not a goal you probably ever thought that you were going to be shooting for.
Hell no.
In your career. Yeah, dude, that's amazing. Like, I literally had never heard of you until that night that Hanny took you out, and then I'm like, wait a minute, that's so long ago, and he was so slow back then. I'm like, how could this be the same guy? But
dude, I know, it's crazy. Like, I mean, you looked up the results from Loretta's; they're not good.
No, you were not a prodigy. Like, look out for this guy; he's coming.
Yeah, I know, it was crazy. I mean, I wasn't bad like on 60s and 80s, but when I got on big bikes, I don't know, it didn't click.
Yeah, there you go. But it sounded like maybe for you, you've always just had more of a knack for supercross type stuff than motocross, but you got to be pro to have a chance to show that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my dad, like, we have a night track at my house. We have races on. I grew up like little TMXA series, just riding night tracks. I mean, obviously, I did do my share of nationals and everything like that, but shit, we raced every weekend somewhere, you know?
Yeah, I see. But do you have a night track, like you hold races on your property?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's sick.
Really?
Tennessee, dude, like an hour closer to Memphis from Loretta's, so the other way.
Yeah, just further toward the state line. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. We get great crowds. I mean, we have quads, we got dirt bikes, you know, all
at your house.
Class.
Like your dad lives on his property.
It's in my backyard. Yeah, I'll have to show it to you.
Is this in the local area? Is it kind of legend?
Yeah,
I would think. It's a big deal.
It's been going on for like 20 years or so.
Have you shown up now that you're like the big famous Alex Ray? Have you shown up and raced it since?
Yeah, I've shown up a few times. I've missed the past couple of years, but yeah, I've been meaning to go back, but it's just tough because their race scheduled during the summer.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, we're usually like racing outdoors and stuff.
It would be pretty shocking if you showed up. Like people would, I don't know. It'd be like RC showing up at a local race, man. Oh my God, it's Alex Ray.
Yeah, probably.
He's here.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, well that's
still
fascinating.
Trying to get a sign on the Atwood, Tennessee thing. Like whenever you come into town, like Alex Ray lived here or something. Home of Alex Ray.
It needs to go.
I want to get one of those.
Yes. And we just, however many mains you end up making in your career, it just needs to have that number on it. Like,
I know, right?
Yeah, it competed in 80 Supercross main events or something like that. Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I was talking to Budman. He's like the other day because I was working with him actually.
Mm-hmm.
Super knowledgeable, and Hartraff was working with him a little bit too, like on some technique stuff. And Hartraff didn't know how many wins he had in arena cross. I'm like, dude, he's got 111.
Crazy.
Like you got to know these things.
Yeah, he's the king.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, Hartraff's good at not knowing that stuff. Like he's really.
He's just the brick, dude. He's the brick. That's it.
He's the brick. He's like a cyborg.
Hell, who knows? Maybe with the career I've had where I've came from, maybe they'll bring arena cross back, and I'll just do that till I'm like 40, like one of those dudes.
Honestly,
like
you might have missed out. That could be a real niche for you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you'd be really good at that. Yeah, 35-year-old A-Ray could really make some money in arena cross.
Oh yeah, just be cleaning fools out.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah. All right, well, this is fascinating. The bridge didn't make any sense. I'm like, how did he get from there to here? It's pretty wild. Can you give any advice? Like, what is it? Just keep trying? Like, what? Do you have any idea how this happened?
You're going to get knocked down. Hanny's going to clean you out. You just got to get back up and keep going.
It really did put you on the map.
I mean, yeah, you just can't give up. Because, I mean, to be honest, I slacked off there for quite a few years. I was just happy to be there. Mm-hmm. And then I just woke up one day and it was pretty much just like, hey, dude, like if I'm going to continue to do this and I want to make some decent money at it, mm-hmm. I got to work my ass off. So I just pretty much took every dime that I had made the previous year and I invested in myself. I moved to California and I just fucking trained as hard as I could.
It's that simple, really.
And I rode you can ask Seth Rarick, you can ask any of them. They seen me at the track doing, anywhere from 60 to 70 laps a day, training my ass off, not eating, like trying to freaking grind to get to where I am right now. So it was a long process, but it happens. I'm still doing it, still trying to get better. So just don't give up.
What about the Millsaps part of this? When he saw something?
That was pretty much it. So I talked to him at Salt Lake City 2017. I sort of told him like what I was doing at club and like we were texting back and forth. And he's like, man, for your body type, what you are and how you ride and everything, that like you're doing all the wrong shit. Like just let me train you, come be my training partner, move to California and we'll start training. So, dude, literally after Vegas that year, 2017, I was riding for Cycle Trader, and I talked to Christina. She's like, yeah. I asked her, hey, what do you think I should do, to get better? She's like, to be honest, I think you need to move to California. I said, okay. So I was talking to Davey at the time, and he said the same thing. So the day after Vegas, I flew home. I packed all my shit, and I started driving to California. I didn't tell anybody where I was going. I was like, yo, I'm going to California. Whatever. Wow. Like, yeah, I just packed up and left.
So you didn't even tell the people at club, I won't be wrong.
I just went straight to California.
Okay.
And I get out of the van. I text Davey. I'm like, hey, I just got here. I'm getting all my stuff unpacked, whatever. He's like, okay, we have a cycle in the morning. I'm like, geez, I can't even sleep in. Mm-hmm. And he just took me up this big climb the next day. And he's like, man, I thought you'd been training like, I thought you'd be in better shape than this, and I wasn't. Like, I was struggling. So, we started training our tails off, me, him, and then Pablo, the guy I still train with till this day.
Pablo? For reals? Still involved?
Yeah, I just got off FaceTime with him.
Oh, Pablo's my guy from Jersey.
Yeah.
I didn't know Pablo was still around.
Dude, he's not. He's in Singapore, but he FaceTimes me every day, gives me a training program and all of it.
Wow, Pablo's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, I'm just working with Pablo, and and it just worked.
I'm trying to remember the timing here. Davey got hurt Was there going to be a lot more with you and Davey together, but then he kind of missed his last year?
Yeah, so I was at home for Thanksgiving, and he was still testing.
Yep.
And Jimmy Perry actually called me. I was like, hey, like, Davey crashed. I was like, shit. So, like, as soon as I got back, I went straight to the hospital to go see him, and everything. And, but it sucks. I lost a training partner, but more importantly, like, he was pretty damn hurt. So, it was pretty bad. So, he actually still kept working with me throughout that whole year. He wrote my writing program every day from home. And, 2018 was pretty much my breakout year, thanks to him and Pablo, for sure.
Wow, that's crazy. And you don't even really know why. Like, he just, for some reason, Davey just wanted to help.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't ask. You didn't say, hi, my name's Alex. Do you have any tips for me? Like,
pretty much, yeah. I asked him, like, I talked to him. I was like, hey, like, you were a bigger guy. How did you lose weight? How did you get in shape? What did you do?
I see.
And he was just, he just welcomed me with open arms to help. So I was like, hell yeah.
Pretty awesome, man. All right, well, this all makes a little more sense. It's still crazy A-Ray out there. Like, don't get me wrong, but...
dude, after meeting me and knowing me for a little bit, does this, sort of make more sense of how I am the way I am?
Oh, it's just, this whole thing could not be any more random. Everything's so random, dude.
Yeah, I know. You should post my Loretta Lynn's results on Racer X.
Okay, you're not bummed on that. We can put that out there.
I don't care. I'm going to go back for 25 plus and kick Brownie's ass. So.
Okay. I'm seeing, your last year you got 12th and 30th in the B class. Time to go pro. 12th and 30th.
Yeah, sick. Oh, I was ready, dude.
Let's go race some Supercross. Let's see, 12th with 17, 13, 16 moto scores. Time to go pro.
17, 13, 16 for a 12. That's
that's solid.
Worse than freaking Steve's vet national last
That's
year.
right. You got 12th. You didn't get 12th in any of the motos, but you got 12th overall.
Oh, shit.
Oh, my gosh.
Man.
All right, hey, sometimes maybe it's better to just not have a plan. Just do it. Just go for it. Because it sounds like that's what you did.
That was it. Yeah, there was no plan.
All right, well, this is good. I guess you probably got to go. We're 25 minutes. This time flew. I was just going to ask about 2021, and then next thing I know, I got this huge history lesson. Awesome.
It's all good. We're ready to go for 2021. That's the thing. No one else knows what the hell they're doing.
It has to be a massive relief. Like, even real teams, like factory teams, or some of them are gone now. Like, to have something locked in 2 months before 2021 is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, what do you think? The most fun atmosphere of any team in the pits? SGB?
Yeah,
okay.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a definite victory. I don't even think you have competition there.
No competition. We keep it light over there.
Gosh. And you do all interact. Like, it's not just like there's A-Ray over there and there's Rod Bell over there. No, you guys are...
No, we're all homies. Oh,
okay. That's good. Is Rod Bell racing Soupy?
Yes, he is.
Oh.
He's actually training. I think he's in Florida right now, training at Rat Race. He's freaking boot camp status.
Yeah, Steve told me that, and I was like, "What happened to the HVAC? Is he going for it full time?"
Yeah, I think he's going for it full time. Well, HVAC's ACs, right? Do they even need ACs in the wintertime?
The H is heat, bro.
Oh, well, shit! I didn't know that.
Sorry.
Well, I guess he just took some time off. I guess his boss is really cool.
Okay.
So.
Going for it. All right, SGB rocketing to the top with A-Ray on the West Coast, Bellrod on the East, rocketing to the top. All right, dude, this has been good. Keep in touch, and I'll send you a gift card. You earned it by allowing us to make fun of you.
It's all good.
All right, dude. Thanks.
See ya.
Yep, see ya.
Okay, that's Alex Ray. That is hilarious stuff, as always, from him. If you're looking for a pick-me-up, you just walk over to wherever Alex is, when it was on the HEP team, or on Cycle Trader, Rock River team, or now with SGB, Babbitt's, Maxis. It's just hilarity ensues, and that's the way it is with most of these privateer guys. So that's one of the big misnomers. The poor privateer, yes, they are poor monetarily, but they are rich spiritually. These dudes are having such a good time. I'm not saying when they don't make mains, they're not angry. That's why we see the unbelievable takeout attempts in the LCQ to get in. They're animals out there on the track, but they are living their best life off of it because they're still on a dirt bike And that still beats almost everything else you can do on the course of a given day. That's our show, brought to you by Yoshimura. Go to yoshimura-rd.com. That RS12 exhaust I mentioned at the top of the show, you can get it for the KTM 500 Dual Sport and the Husky 501 Dual Sport. Now they have a Kawasaki KX450 version of the RS12 system. It's really cool. It's got a unique shape to it. Sounds awesome, looks awesome. You know the performance is good. Huge power gains with the Kawasaki. I'm shocked, actually. You know, the Kawi isn't a dual sport. You know, it has a motocross, closed course, loud exhaust system. We know the Kawi mufflers are just ginormous in stock form. Apparently that thing holds that motor back because the Yosh system, big power gain. So again, yoshimura-rd.com. Check out that. And MX Tech suspension, got the Lucky Fork, dual springs, dual cartridges, Huck valves, ultra lightweight, the latest in technology and coatings, delivering maximum performance while maintaining lightweight, because MX Tech suspension has been in the game for a long time, lifetime of specializing in suspension, and that's what's developed this technology. So go over to mx-tech.com for more. RacerXOnline.com/Weege. Subscribe to the magazine. I have 2 feature stories in the issue that's coming out next. I work hard on them, so read them. And you can only do that if you subscribe. It's only $30. You can read it through our website digitally. You'll still get the magazine in the mail, old school, and we'll send you a calendar, and we'll send you a Rocky Mountain gift card for $25. So that pretty much means it's free with the gift card. And of course, you have something to buy for your dirt bike for $25, so you'll definitely use it. That's it for our show. I got Ryan Villapoto coming up here soon, so keep listening to the Racer X Podcast Network and Exhaust. Thanks.